Hey everyone, it's Zack Beck. It's no secret that money stresses people out. As a matter of fact, a recent study conducted by Thrive Global found that 90% of Americans say that financial considerations add stress to their life. And this could be caused by a variety of factors, one potentially being the amount of debt that people are carrying. Nearly 80% of Americans carry some form of consumer debt, and of that 80%, nearly 56% of those individuals say that they are significantly stressed by that debt. Furthermore, it could be the amount of individuals who are living paycheck to paycheck, or the stressors that they're caused by going into the stock market or into cryptocurrencies. So wherever you are in the spectrum, what I want to do in this video is break down in detail what is going on with finances here in our society right now, but more importantly, the specific steps that you and I can take to navigate through those stressors, to put ourselves in a better position right now, to be able to hopefully navigate into a more financially secure and stable position long term. So let's take our time, dive in the details, and jump into it right now. As I'm sure that many of you can relate, we already live in a pretty stressful society as it is. Whether it's our jobs, whether it's our families, our relationships, the things we see on social media or in the news, there's a lot going on that already contributes to our levels of stress. Then when we add finances on top of that, whether that's debt, whether that's trying to invest, whether that's just living paycheck to paycheck, whatever it is, it can make things even worse. So right now, as we're going through this process, what I really want to do is help reframe your relationship with money to hopefully reduce the levels of financial stress in your life, and hopefully that can trickle out into the other areas of your life to improve your relationships, to improve your work, and to improve your dynamics in your family. So as we're going through this, I want to go through the process of what we actually found in the Thrive Global study, because they had some very key findings that I believe are important for us to be aware of. And the first is this: they found that nearly 90% of individuals say that money has an impact on their stress level. They also said that about 65% report feeling that their financial difficulties are piling up so much that they can't overcome them. And roughly 40% report that they are currently taking no notable steps to secure their financial future. And over 40% wish that they could have a fresh start financially. Less than 25% feel extremely optimistic about their financial future. And nearly 25% make purchases that they later regret when experiencing financial stress. In addition, 40% say that managing their money on a daily basis limits the extent to which they can enjoy their day-to-day life. So this is very significant. It's important for us to understand this because it probably touches on a subject for yourself as well. Wherever you are in the spectrum, whatever is affecting you, I think it's important for us to identify that so hopefully we can make tangible decisions right now to help navigate through that moving forward. The study found that financial stress is extremely influential on major milestones and everyday activities in our lives, including the following: retiring, buying a home, purchasing a car, daily leisure activities, purchasing clothing or even purchasing groceries, making social plans, getting married, having or adopting children, daily personal care routines, engaging in exercise, getting a pet, and even choosing what to eat. So clearly, our finances have a direct impact on other areas of our lives, as the study shows. So I believe it's important for us to identify what areas we need to improve in our lives, specifically in what area of finances are causing us stress. Perhaps you're part of the 78% of Americans who live paycheck to paycheck. Maybe you do not have an emergency fund. Maybe you're stressed out by being able to pay your bills, pay your rent, your mortgage, or your credit card. Maybe you're burdened with debt. Whatever it is, or perhaps you're even invested in the stock market, but you're YOLOing all your money into risky asset classes or picking individual stocks. Whatever it is for you, if you're financially stressed right now, I just want you to take a deep breath and think about what area of your life in your financial situation can improve that would actually affect other areas of your life and hopefully make a positive impact in those areas. So with that being said, I want us to look at a couple of ways that we can actually navigate the situation moving forward from here. One thing I believe is important to be aware of is that our finances are very personal. It's easy to get caught up in numbers and just think about how much we're making, how much we're spending, and just bullet point things down maybe into a spreadsheet and determine that's our value, that's our net worth, etc. But because of the personal nature of our money, because we work hard for it, because we have to make decisions to actually spend it or to save it, I believe there's a very important step that you and I can take as we're trying to get out of the financial stress that is causing us right now. And the step would be, number one, discuss your financial situation with a close friend or a family member. A study recently found that nearly 60% of individuals who got out of a financial stressful situation relied on family or friend support to help them get through that. Now, when I'm saying this, I'm not saying you go to someone to ask them for money or to ask them for specific advice on how to invest or anything to that extent. Just take some time to really divulge the information that's going out there to help you process what is going on. You might be in a very difficult situation because you're in a lot of debt. You might not be making enough money right now, therefore you're living paycheck to paycheck. You might have made a risky bet in the stock market that is causing you to freak out a little bit. So whatever it is, whatever your story is, share that with a trusted person, a close friend or a family member. You can get as specific as you want, but just being able to get it off your chest is an important step to help you take the following step, which is getting more practical and hopefully navigating this in a way that puts you in a better position long term. The next step you can take is very practical, and that is to actually list out your finances. List your income, list your expenses, perhaps even list your assets. Basically, if you can think of everything that you're spending and what bills you have and how much money you bring in, try and get that into a budget in some way, shape, or form so you have a big picture understanding of where things are. I remember there was a period of time in my life where I didn't even want to look at my bank account or conduct a budget because I was so disappointed with where my financial situation was. However, by not doing that, it negatively put me in a position where I was unable to make tangible decisions or look at my finances in such a way where I can make some adjustments that would have corrected the poor behavior and the poor decisions that I was already making. So I'd encourage you to get that information out there. Whether you're going to get a pad and pen and actually write it down, whether you're going to use some form of a spreadsheet, whether you're going to use an online tool, it doesn't really matter to me. It's really whatever works for yourself. And it's going to be different if you're in the investing stage right now of your life or if you're just at the place where you're trying to get your head above water. But try and get your money mapped out in some way, shape, or form. Now, if you've gone through the process of laying everything out, I believe the next important step to take is to find out how much debt you have. Debt is a significant burden in our lives. Like I already said, nearly 56% of Americans are significantly stressed out by the debt that they are carrying. And that is because oftentimes we purchase things impulsively or we bite off more than we can chew, thinking that if we're just having monthly payments, it's going to be easier for us to pay it off in the long term. But when we're in debt, we actually are putting ourselves in such a situation where we have a negative net worth instead of a positive net worth. And because of that, it can cause us to have all sorts of stress because we feel like we're not able to dig out of that hole. But there are specific steps that you can take and actually some different programs that are offered that can actually help you with this. If you have some form of debt in your life, I think it would be important to utilize the debt snowball method that is championed by Dave Ramsey. This is basically where you list out your debt and you pay off your lowest balance first and you keep working your way up until you pay off your highest balance first. There's actually an academy part of this. It's actually called Financial Peace University. You can enroll in that, do it online, go through a local church or a local organization, whatever works for you. I'm not affiliated in any way, shape, or form with Dave Ramsey or with Financial Peace University, but I've seen lives transformed by going through that program. So I'd encourage you that if you don't know how to get out of your debt right now, look at that as an option. In addition, I've already put out some steps specifically in other videos previously about how you can defeat debt, and I think that would be worth checking out as well. Now, if you've already discussed the situation with a close friend or family member, you've kind of mapped out what your budget looks like, and now you're identifying your debt and hopefully getting in a better position where you can actually defeat that, I want you to take another step back and actually review all of your decision making when it comes to your finances, thinking through about the patterns of behavior that you have, because I believe it's important for us to identify areas where we might have a weakness. Perhaps you spend too much money by going out to eat. Maybe make impulsive decisions when you go to the store. Maybe you buy a lot of things online. Whatever it is, try and identify that now so that way as you're moving into these next steps, you try to avoid the situations that might put yourself in a bad circumstance where you might make an impulsive financial decision that doesn't bring additional joy to your life. It could actually bring additional stress to your life. And I believe this is a critical step to take because our mental health is very important. I believe that it can really be negatively affected by our finances. And I want you to be a thriving member of your community, of your family, of your workplace, wherever you're engaged in your life right now. I don't want your finances to inhibit your ability to live out your full potential and hopefully exercise your gifts in such a way where it makes a positive impact in this world. So hopefully you take a step right back to kind of look at where things are and try to identify the things that you can do to not make the same mistakes that you've done before. These next practical steps are relatively simple to take once you're on the pathway to do so. You can do the following. Create an emergency fund, which is basically 3 to 6 months of living expenses that you have set aside in case of some sort of emergency. Like I previously mentioned, nearly 78% of Americans live paycheck to paycheck. As a result of that, they cannot cover a basic $1,000 emergency. So what I want you to do is work on setting aside that money so you have it in case there's an issue that comes up. Maybe start with $1,000 and then work your way up depending upon your financial situation. Now, if you're already beyond this, that's totally good, but you still want to have this always set aside, even if you're at the level where you're investing in the stock market or cryptocurrencies or something to that extent. The next thing you want to do is get your money to work for yourself. You've probably read a lot of headlines about inflation. It's at historically high levels right now, and that is because of the pandemic, supply chain issues, and our government spending more and more money on various programs. And as a result of that, it basically is reducing the value of our dollar. And every year we reduce the value of our dollar, then if you do not have your money growing or outpacing inflation, you're effectively losing money that you're saving. So you want to get your money to work for you. And if you have that money originally set aside in your emergency fund, you want to get the next round of finances hopefully set aside into the stock market or into some sort of a financial asset that allows you to have it grow over time in a safe and secure manner, depending upon your risk tolerance. What I like to do is invest into the stock market, into index funds, which are basically the broad total stock market. Therefore, I'm not investing specifically into a company. I'm investing into a variety of companies that have a historic track record of returning anywhere between 5 to 10% on an annual basis when you adjust for dividends and inflation. Now, because of that, I have a little more security and peace of mind in my life to not be concerned with the headlines that are going on CNBC or Fox News or CNN or what I'm reading in the Wall Street Journal. I'm not worried about what Elon Musk is tweeting or what's happening with Dogecoin or Bitcoin. I'm just going into the market in such a way where it's slow and it's steady. And that is not because I don't have a higher risk tolerance. I probably could shoot for higher, more riskier assets, but it's really the peace of mind that I have in my life that is more important to me, and I value that more than having a bit more money maybe over time. But because I'm also less financially stressed, I'm more willing to put more money into the market over a longer period of time, which is actually going to help me grow my net worth. Now, it takes time to get to this level. I was not at this level earlier on in my life, but now I'm at this place where I'm able to have more financial security and peace of mind by putting my money into the market and to work for myself. You might have a totally different financial approach than myself, and that is totally fine. But I would just encourage you to get in the direction of getting your money to work for yourself, and that'll help lower your stress levels significantly. Now, after you've stabilized yourself financially, the most important step that you can take is to not fixate on your finances. You might have a specific goal of buying a car, buying a home, or doing something big, which is great. But if you're fixated on your finances, that can add more stress. I know people who have significant net worth who are more stressed out about their finances than some people who are living paycheck to paycheck. So you really want to check yourself when you're going through this process that the intention for your finances is not for you just to solely fixate on them and almost worship them. Basically, what you want to do is make sure that your finances are secure in the background so you can live in the present. That way you can be there for your friends, for your family, for your relationships, for your spouse, for whatever you're doing. That way when you're at your workplace, you're not freaked out. And that way when you're actually out in society and your community, hopefully you'll be able to focus on other things outside of money. And then you can spend money on things that bring value to your life and not spend money on things that don't bring value to your life. Because if you're less stressed, you're going to be a better person in your life, and ultimately your mental health will benefit from that as well. And that'll affect your physical health. It'll affect everything else. So I'm hopeful that if you can go through this process, if you're in a stressful situation right now, it will provide you with a bit of encouragement. It'll provide you with a bit of peace of mind, hopefully some practical steps, but more importantly than any of that, it can help you realize your full potential so you can live a life of meaning and purpose while maintaining balance and moderation. With all that being said, I'd like to thank you for watching the video today. If you wouldn't mind, please tap the like button for the YouTube algorithm. Help push this video to other people who might need to hear it. In addition, if you have any questions, please comment down below. I'd love to interact with you, get to know you, do any research on your behalf so you can make well and wise informed decisions moving forward. Furthermore, if you wouldn't mind, please subscribe to the channel. That would mean a lot to myself personally, as I do everything I can to create positive content that makes a positive impact in your life by encouraging you and myself to lead lives of meaning and purpose, all while maintaining balance and moderation. And if you do subscribe to the channel, please tap the notification bell. That will notify you every time I post a video, which I try to do on a weekly basis. Once again, I'd like to thank you for watching the video today. I hope you have a wonderful day. Talk to you next time.